Welcome, welcome everybody, and thank you for joining. Now, this release is the summer release, and typically we all went on a well-deserved summer holiday, or many of us in the company, and so there's many things different things we worked on. But this release will go to the production environment, is already in your sandbox, and will go to production on September 12th, next Sunday. Now, with this release, we didn't make any updates to our betas and pilot statuses for this reason. So FinDock Paylinks went to GA before the summer in the July release, and now both auto collect and data quality validation are in the beta phase. With the next two releases, we hope to bring these two features to GA status as well. And we are confident to do that. We are still thinking about the data quality validation pilot, whether or not to move that GA in the October or November release, but we will keep you posted on that as well. In this release, we'd like to go over 4 different things with you. So first of all, we'd like to showcase an exciting project we did in the summer period, where we showcased the integration between Subscription 25 and FinDock. Then secondly, we made several quality of life improvements to our auto collect feature. And also we made very many updates to our data validation feature, making it relevant for all of our customers. And then last but not least, there's a various group of bugs and enhancements we'd like to make you aware of and tell you about. Now, first, Subscription 25 and FinDock. As you all know, FinDock does payments on Salesforce, and we like to see us as an ISV that is part of a larger of your implementation. So you don't just do payments on Salesforce, right? You do that for a certain business process. Many of our customers do this for non-profit use cases with NPSP or Converse. Other customers do it for membership use cases or loan management. And in this case, we partnered with Gen25 to also make an integration with Subscription 25, which we'd like to highlight. And Subscription 25 is an ISV package that does contract management for you on recurring basis. So you can input your contracts using the standard Salesforce objects extended by them in Salesforce, and they are able to generate one-time or recurring invoices based on your contracts, and automatically or manually you're able to send those invoices to your customers, and then also upload them via various out-of-the-box integrations to your financial system, like for example Exact or QuickBooks. Now, with FinDock, you get the payment capability in your Salesforce environment as well, as you all know. So together we are able to not only generate the invoice, but also collect in real time receive notifications about the status of your invoices in Salesforce. And we have seen together 3 different main use cases. So the first one is very obviously is together with FinDock payment links, where you're able to generate an invoice and automatically include a payment link or QR code on your invoice that you send to the customer. The second invoice that makes a lot of sense, for example, more for membership recurring subscriptions, is that you're able to generate the invoices in the system on a recurring basis. But instead of sending an invoice, you're able to debit them automatically using FinDock from your customers' bank accounts. And then thirdly, lots of invoices are obviously being paid by wire transfer. And together with generating the invoice and the invoice number up front, and then using guided matching when the bank statement's coming in, we're able to automatically match incoming wire transfers based on the invoice numbers, get the information from the invoice, and then book off all the transactions in FinDock and Subscription 25. Now there's The payment link use case we also made a short demo about, so we'd like to show you in the video how this looks like in real life. So here you see a contract from subscription 25 that's being activated, and it will generate an order. Every month, for example, when you invoice monthly, an order will be created, and you can combine one or multiple orders in invoices. Now, an invoice is a new record in Salesforce then that's attached to one or multiple orders, and will have, or you will be able to automatically or manually generate a PDF of the invoice that you can, again, automatically or manually share with your customer. So on this invoice, we created the PDF, and that includes a QR code. And when the customer scans, he or she goes to the out-of-the-box FinDock Pay link page that is branded to your organization. The customer can choose which payment method he or she prefers, pay the amount that is needed, and then in real time, the installment in FinDock and the invoice in subscription 25 will go to collected, and the customer will be thanked for the payment. Now, this obviously shows the power of combining multiple ISV apps on the Salesforce platform, and it also shows the power of being native on Salesforce. Now, if you have invoices in your organization and you use your own custom solution or another solution, you can use us for FinDock Pay links. And as you've seen in this video, you can also do that obviously together with subscription 25. The second thing we'd like to highlight to you is the auto collect feature that we have now for multiple releases in beta, or in pilot and beta stage. So for everybody who doesn't know yet, very shortly, our auto collect feature gives you the ability to automatically collect recurring payments. You set it up once, and then it collects the payments for you. And we do that for any recurring payment method you have in your Salesforce environment. In the summer period, we made some quality of life changes based on your feedback to be able to go to GA. So, for example, we fixed a few bugs you highlighted to us on the recurring payment schedule. We updated the preview window on the auto collect record that shows you when we are going to collect, and we also added support for not only auto collection processes, but also all the mandate processes. So, for example, when you use us together with Box Direct Debit and you have to manage the DDIs, we can also automatically register or cancel those DDIs via auto mandate management processes. This means that as we speak, you're now able to collect all your recurring payments automatically from FinDock, all your mandate management processes, but also all your gift aid claims for our UK customers. Thirdly, we'd like to show you the data validation beta that we are currently running. And I think you have all seen it, but if you haven't all seen it, our data validation feature helps you to validate the data or the recurring payments that you want to collect and the data quality of the data in your system before you actually start collecting and making mistakes. So this means that you're able to validate whether or not your data, for example, is correct to do a gift aid claim, or to create a SEPA direct debit file, or to collect all your Stripe cards or your PayPal accounts. Now, this feature not only shows an output of all the data validation rules in a spreadsheet, because we do that, but we also help you validate your data in real time in Salesforce. And I quickly want to show that to you as well. So here I have a Salesforce environment, my personal demo environment, and I have a payment schedule. And we want to collect SEPA direct debits. I already generated the payment schedule, so that means that we went through Salesforce and found all payments in the system due to collect. And we found 1. Now, here you can see the data quality component. And when I click validate, we are validating the payment schedule record and all related installment records. And here you see there is an error because one installment failed validation because the bank statement description is missing. Now, if you are a large organization and you would have, let's say, 200,000 records attached to this payment schedule, we would show you here how many of those records would be faulty if there are any, and then split it out per error. Now, when I open this installment, you can see that this component is also works on the installment, and it validates this specific installment, and it says this bank statement description is missing. Now, when we add the bank statement description, let's say September release webinar, and we save the record, the validation is rerun and it's successful. And if you are wondering, well, how good are the rules, for example, for SEPA direct debit from FinDock? Here you see all the data validation rules that we configured, and you can also see that they all were either positive or skipped because they were not applicable. Now, when we would go back to the payment schedule and we would rerun this validation, also on the payment schedule level, it will now say successful. And when we came out with this feature, which obviously we are very proud of, we started with only SEPA direct debits managed by FinDock, and then later we added BEX direct debit managed by FinDock and the Swiss direct debits managed by FinDock. But in the summer period, we worked hard to make all recurring payment methods available to you for this, the rule sets. We created rule sets for all recurring payment methods we as FinDock support. And that means that if you use FinDock or when you use FinDock for recurring collection, then you're able to utilize now the data quality feature that's currently in beta. Now, we spent a lot of time trying to make the most complete data validation rules we know, but probably we have missed a few. And that means that when you run into a scenario where our data validation rules missed a certain error, but your collection failed because of that, or you think it should be there, please share that with us. We can upgrade and update these rules over time, and we have a high appetite to do so. So please, if you run into any questions, or you're maybe missing some kind of validations, then please let us know. We're happy to work with you and dive into it. The part that's still missing for this pilot and that we are currently working on is for certain regions, let's say in Italy and in the UK, many of our customers not only use payment schedules, but also mandate schedules. And those mandate schedules are also, for those mandate schedule processes, it's also important that the data quality is correct. And therefore, we are now bringing all the features we did for payment collection also to the mandate schedule and the mandate management processes. To give you some insight into how that's used currently, Lawrence put together some stats for you about how customers are using this feature in production. And currently, 35 of our customers have already used this in production, which for us shows a high level of adoption. And over 500 payment schedules have already been validated using this feature, with over 5 million installments being validated, which is a mind-blowing number we are really proud of. And to point you to the value, over 40% of the runs failed with at least one error. We were able with this feature to make you aware of that prior to actually running into a problem or exception. Now, this number probably in real production is a bit lower because some of our customers obviously use this to test before they were in production, but this points to the amount of errors we were able to prevent using this component. If you don't have this component on your layout, then please, it's really easy to use this feature. The only thing you have to do is you have to go to the payment schedule or to the installment layout, to the app builder, and drag and drop this component onto the page. And from then on, the validation functionality will be available for you. There's a question from Chris asking if you can adjust the validation rules yourself, just like guided matching, and the answer is no. We feel that these rules are strict in the sense that they have to help you create the right direct debit file, credit card run, or gift date claim, and they are objective in that sense that they are generic, that these data requirements are generic for everybody. Now, if you miss one or you think, hey, this makes sense to add to these rules, all the rules we added are public. They are in a Google Sheet. And if you miss one, please let us know because we are keen to work with you. To wrap up the overview of the September release, we'd like to tell you about a few bugs and bug fixes and minor enhancements that we did. But over the summer period, we made quite a lot, to be honest. Now, good ones to highlight are when you're using the payment request generator, we made a couple of quality of life improvements, especially around the report type. So instead of inputting a campaign, but inputting a report into there, we try to smoothen a few of the edges there. And I'd also like to highlight, especially for some of our German customers who are in the call, that on our payment API, we now have added parameters to support non-European Union IBANs for SEPA Direct Debit. So a couple of releases ago, we added the ability to direct debit, for example, Swiss or UK bank accounts via SEPA Direct Debit. And in those situations, you needed to input extra fields, and now we've added those fields to our payment API as well, giving you the ability to recognize this in your API integration and ask for that data when somebody inputs, for example, a Swiss IBAN on your website. We highly recommend you to check out our release notes for all details. We try to be very meticulous in writing down and giving you insight into what has changed. And obviously, you also have access to it in sandboxes. So please feel free to test it and to share your feedback. Now we are, with the closing of these pilots, we are thinking about what are we going to do next. And we would really like to have a better understanding of how our customers use us in certain use cases. So we'd really like to talk to you when you use extensively manual review and or guided review from guided matching. So when you're an organization and you use our guided review feature, then we are very interested to set up a very short call with you to just see how you're using it, what you like, what you didn't like, what you customize, for example, to make it more fitting to your use case. And the same applies for FinDock Giving Pages. We know that FinDock Giving Pages is a product we launched this year, and we are keen to do a new iteration and a next step on FinDock Giving Pages, and we are trying to find out where can we add the most value with this feature. So if you are using FinDock Giving Pages and have feedback for us, please let us know. But also, if you just implemented FinDock and you didn't use FinDock Giving Pages for certain reasons, we are also very keen to understand why that is. So please feel free to reach out to me and share your use cases if you like to. As said, the recording of this session will also go to our YouTube channel, where we try to add the content that we create in video format. So find us on YouTube if you want to know something from a previous release or other videos that we've created there. And with that, I'd like to thank you for your time. I hope you will have pleasant weekends, and I will stay around to answer questions or take feedback. Thank you.